Today I'm going to collect all of the Stanley figures in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I don't care.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
No. I know
And
where
here it
the
was.
Figleys
Had the bucket
are.
turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I went to the wrong way. Oh well. I know there's one this way anyways too, so it's cool. Yeah. Hi, broom closet. There's one down
here. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines.
Figleys.
And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figleys.
They're
what do you think,
Figleys.
Stanley?
Figleys.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1?
I also get no happiness.
I'm sure it will come to me.
You are too loud. I'm lowering your volume. Good. Okay. I'm not going there. I need to restart now. Where are the other Figleys?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hold on. Okay. I need to get off the lift.
When Stanley came to a set of two open this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I should have brought the bucket.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
This makes me want to play Octodad really bad.
Wow. Yes. This room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay. Careful now.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlerines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
That's awesome.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all.
I appreciate
you
the sense
can't go
of
back to when you
completion.
had no Figler Anlerines. None of us can.
I wish I had no figurines. Can I go all the way down there? Feels like I can. But it also feels like I can't. I mean, let's think. If I go back here, I can't go back up, right? Oh.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path
I've never
that it
been
seemed
here.
the office had begun
Literally.
so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had
Literally
begun
never been here.
so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in
No, I don't
pure
really
shock
like
at the
that.
phenomenal and intricate
Pretty cheap.
storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life
That's
being
so
an
mean.
unending waterfall of surprises and delights.
I'm gonna grab a
How
water.
much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
Me collecting all the
Now I've
figures
become
in a
sad. Look what
terrible
you've done to me. This is all your
Such a
fault.
good use of my time. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nope, I'm going back to the warehouse.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Haha, no, I didn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
should go
your
there.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Figleys.
And there it is. The last Stiggly
I
Wiggly.
did it all.
Savor this
I got
moment,
them all,
Stanley.
guys.
This is a real accomplishment.
Ah.
This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect
do
to be
that all the
rewarded
time.
for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
I do it all the time.
I
love
would
doing
tell
things
you
for
that
the
I'm
sake
proud
doing
of you
things.
for collecting them all.
I have
But
free
that
will.
would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to
Yay, no
whatever
more
the hell you were
rewards.
doing before you hunted for figurines.
Nothing. That's all I've ever had. Go through the red door. Go through the blue door. Yep.
Aha! Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley.
Thanks.
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road
I've never
you've
actually done
chosen?
this.
Well, don't let me stop you.
There's a red door.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles?
Yes.
Skill trees?
Yes.
Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing
Literally,
so
both of those would
far.
be very fun.
Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
I think yes.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the
I
dark.
like it. I like
but
it.
I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here,
Third
based on the
door.
data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version.
My
And to be
previous
perfectly
playthrough.
candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's
Okay,
take
show
a
me.
look.
Show me. Oh. The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Wow. Is this real? Probably not. 21.3% of players skip the intro sequence. Only the worst 3% of players chose the blue door. Wow. 9328 out of 9328. Great. The dead rat is objectively ranked better than me. Interesting. I wonder if these numbers are real or if they change at all. See, like, look, I'm taking a ton of steps. Huh. Okay, interesting.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
I would.
Again, honest answers, please.
I would.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on.
Oh, yeah?
And now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Not at all.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right. And if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family
It's very
life.
artistic.
I think the art world will really take notice. But of course,
Art
the
world.
message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to
I
keep
don't have
notes
4
on your
hours.
experience.
Can I pause? Guess. I'm gonna let the baby die. I'll come back to this. I'll do it for 4 hours sometime. But not today. Burn, baby, burn.
You heartless bastard.
Huh.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Spite.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Flappy Bird? Oh my gosh.
Ah, fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley?
Like the fire.
What's our
What's it
backstory?
called?
What is our
Fire
motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it.
No.
What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Was that the Minecraft door sound effect? This is Firewatch. which I have not played.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
What?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
No, I like it. What?
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call.
What?
You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley.
No.
Okay, I'm
very
going to
much
get us
in
out
the
of
woods.
here. Let's find another game.
No.
Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Wait, that's a surmount. I can surmount there. Please.
Okay, I think this will
No.
be just the thing.
Rocket League?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
It literally says Rocket
Stanley,
League, doesn't
if you
it?
manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally
How is the
impressed.
copyright okay with this? Rocket League. It's Rocket League.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Yes, this is more fun than the semi-table.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having fun?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what...
Nope.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Whoa.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Woo, let's go again. Uh-oh. I don't need the narrator. Just me, myself, and I. Ooh! I'll blindly follow the light, actually. Huh. Is this the recording studio? Okay.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it, he'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Interesting. There's no balloons. And no narrator.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those Figleys. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
The memory zone. Let's go. The memory zone's fun. Now remembering and Stanley found the collectibles. It's pretty cool.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
7. Second one.
And here was the second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Yep. I'm so cool.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand?
Under the stairs.
Can you remember? No. Under the stairs was the 4th place you found a figure, not the 3rd. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If under the stairs feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments?
Fair. Real.
Let's see. What came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
What?
Well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
That's weird. I don't remember this pink room.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
What?
Enjoy.
How you found it? By the narrator. What's that back there? It's mini stand number 5. Wow. Oh yeah. You found it near the cargo lift. Thanks for watching. Directed by the narrator, edited by the narrator, music by the narrator, produced by the narrator, posted by the narrator, starring Stanley C. the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Whee! Oh boy.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others.
That's true.
Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
You
And
are
then
in the present.
there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future.
Oh, yeah,
Goodbye,
that's cool.
memory zone.
What? But I like the memory zone.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Okay. Sure, I guess.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, I love that video.
Thanks for speeding up. Gosh darn.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one.
Me
Good room,
neither.
though. A solid room.
Solid room. Don't remember it at all.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Yeah, no reward. Oh, the toilet has me.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too.
I remember
The past
3.
is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Right. Right. I remember.
Look,
Oh my
it's the
gosh.
terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually... Oh, yes! The 2 doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
The loading screen. The menu. The main menu.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore.
No.
Oh, but he truly was so much
Mm-hmm.
fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office,
You're
and then
killing
I'll
Stanley?
retire him for good.
No.
I did
What the
enjoy telling
frick?
his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Ah. No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
dead.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Last
simply
time,
missed a
Stanley.
memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace
last
of his
time, Stanley.
co-workers.
Bucket.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Oh yeah.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. 2854.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I'm just following what the narrator says. Just to like...
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I guess I saved like a couple seconds or something.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it. But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
Okay.
Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
Okay.
So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here. A bit cold, perhaps.
Okay.
After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was inconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Okay. I guess it was an ending. But Stanley's still here. I'm still here.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
That's a photo.
The embrace of an old friend.
So what am I doing?
Weathered companionship
I thought I
that
was doing
stands
some
the
figley
test of
thing.
time.
But I'm just wrong.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
What am I supposed
was this
to do?
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
I'll get it.
This is the story of a man named...
Like, what do I do now? I don't know.